Bards are everyone's favorite jack of all trades and master of getting the party into as much trouble as possible, especially with all the fun skill proficiencies you'll have access to in Baldur's Gate 3. In this video today, we're going to be doing a deep dive on another one of our classes for BG3. This will be a 12-part series where I hope to give you a better idea about each of the classes ahead of the launch of the game come August 3rd. Today we'll be focusing on the Bard. I'll be pulling information from the 5th edition Player's Handbook, and I'll show off the early access character select screen. There won't be a ton of visuals because I don't want to spoil anything from the game for myself or you. How we'll do this video is by talking about the base kit without any subclasses, then go into the 3 subclasses we know are coming at launch. It's worth noting that most subclass abilities go up to level 20 in D&D, but the cap for BG3 is 12. So we'll talk about the high-end abilities because we still aren't sure if they're coming into the game in a modified form or what have you, but that's just a bit of transparency first. Also keep in mind you can fully respec both your character and companions for the exception of their race. So I encourage you to try out every class you're curious about when the game launches, and please, as always, play how you want, not how the internet tells you. I'm also not a D&D expert, just want to let that be known, so not even slightly, so I apologize if I missed the mark on any of these descriptions. You can quickly navigate to any part of this video that interests you the most using the chapters above the timeline in the description. Don't forget to swing on by my Twitch where I will be streaming Baldur's Gate 3 on launch, linked in the description and pinned comment as well. Let's get started here on my Bard class and subclass detailed breakdown for Baldur's Gate 3. Moving over to the Bard, we see a very fun character that can pull from tons and tons and tons of different things in the game. I would say that the Bard, if we're not talking about combat, and we're talking about just like kind of the interact with the game world, they're all about skills and proficiencies and getting skill proficiency bonuses and just really chalking them up. They have a lot of really fun different abilities. So you can see here, I've got the chart here for all of the stuff that you get for your Bard at whatever levels and so on and so forth. So Bard is a spellcaster, not in the same way that maybe say a wizard or a sorcerer are, that they dedicate 100% of their time to it, but they do have access to a limited number of spells. Now those spells typically pull from illusion or divination or enchantment, and there's some conjuration in there here and there. But if I go ahead and press customize here on spells, I can see all of those first level spells that I get access to. This is all that I'll get access to, all 15 of these spells. Then I'll get access to more at the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th level spells. Again, our cap though is level 12 in this game, so we'll probably tap out at the 6th level of spells for our Bard. Now, I don't want to say I can use wizard spells because it doesn't really work like that. But all the spells a wizard can cast, a Bard can too. But a Bard cannot cast all the spells a wizard can. If that helps you in any way. Because I mean, I still have like healing abilities here, like Cure Wounds, which is an evocation spell. I mean, I get plenty of other spells that you would not think that are like, oh, okay, well, Cure Wounds, a wizard. No, that's not the way it works in D&D. You just have a bunch of different pools that you're pretty much pulling through. Again, so evocation, transmutation here, illusion. Where's the divination one? There's a divination one. So speak with animals. Tasha is a really cool enchantment spell. So you have a lot of these really cool spells that you can pull from with this character. You also get cantrips that you can pull from as well. These are all going to differ too, depending upon what subclasses you have, what race you select, stuff like that. You also get your starting instrument. This has no bearance on the game. You choose whatever you want and you can just simply choose a different one at any point in the game. It's just what you'll be using for your bardic inspiration, which is really the hallmark of this class. You start at level 1 with that ability, and bardic inspiration will change depending upon which bard college or subclass you decide to go with. It'll become combat inspiration, you might get different types of inspirations, whatever it is, bardic inspiration is really the hallmark of this class. So I think it's on here, right? Yeah, action at the very bottom. I can press T, and remember, if you at any point you can press T in the game, lock the screen and look at any tooltip. So inspire an ally to go beyond their capabilities with your performance. They add a 1d6 bonus to their next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. Don't think of this as something that has to be used in combat. This is also a bonus action in case you do use it in combat. But your bardic inspiration will pop up whenever something like, okay, I'm going to go do a conversation roll, roll for intimidation, or do an intelligence check or an investigation check in the middle of a conversation, whatever it is. You'll see a little dice pop up with this character's face on it, and you can use their bardic inspiration to get a bonus on that ability check. Ability checks, like I said, are not strictly happening only in combat. So just to kind of put that into a bit of perspective for you. And as you progress through the character, you get stuff like counter charm, which allows you to pretty much give an additional saving throw to anyone who's doing like fear or charm checks, so that you can kind of help out the party a little bit more. But like I said too, you get a lot of bonuses towards your skills and your proficiencies. I've explained this in some of my other videos, but I'm just going to do this again really quick for you. If you have a proficiency, hover over this. A proficiency bonus is a bonus added to attack rolls and ability checks if you are proficient with a weapon, tool, or skill. It's different for armor, but armor allows you, there we go, to wearing light armor will not impose disadvantage on your attack rolls or prevent the casting of spells. Remember, a disadvantage is when you're going to take 2 dice and take the roll both and take the lower of the 2. An advantage is you roll both and take the higher of the 2. I say roll dice, you're going to see it in the game. You'll see the actual physical dice roll for a lot of these things, and it's pretty cool. But those are important to kind of get an idea for, because this character's proficiency or expertise allows you to choose multiple skill proficiencies at level 3. So you get 2 more, and you can actually kind of double things up. So like I said, you are all about skills and proficiencies and getting big bad rolls out of them. That's the biggest focus of this character. Also, you're a dexterity and charisma primarily focused class with strength or dex, depending upon how you want to go about maybe your combat or how you want to approach it. Even though you're casting spells, you're not using your intelligence to cast those spells. Much like a sorcerer, you're using your charisma to cast those spells. And what I mean by that is, whenever you cast a spell, it will look at your charisma roll to do any of those ability checks and whatnot. There's an actual equation in the rulebook, and it's your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier. That's how that works. So charisma is how you'll be using that. Not the typical like, oh, I gotta put my points into intelligence because I'm casting spells. Nay, that is wizards. So it's important to know those things, because we're going to go over here into, oh, well, you know what, class features. We have light armor, simple weapons. So you'd be looking at rapiers here, short swords, staves, clubs, slings, quarterstaves, things that are, well, simple. Martial weapons would be any of your, I'm sorry, rapier is its own proficiency outside of simple weapons. Sorry about that. Martial weapons would be stuff like bastard swords, long swords, flails, morning stars, stuff that is not just simple. There's a whole list of them. I'm just trying to make it really like easy to understand. But you also get hand, crossbow, longsword, and rapier proficiency, as well as short sword proficiency. Some of that might be coming from my race. No, didn't think that. I thought it might have been, but not. This is basically the character I will be personally making. In fact, this is going to be what my character looks like and everything. We also get musical instrument proficiency, of course, because this all pulls us into our skills. So as you can see, if you've seen my other videos here, or maybe my one on Ranger, you've seen that we get a ton of skill proficiencies to choose from. At level 2, you get Jack of all trades. You can add half of your proficiency bonus, rounded down, to any ability check you make that doesn't already include your proficiency bonus. So you basically, what that means is, all of your ability checks get a even further bonus because of your Jack of all trades, having tons of skill proficiencies, your focus. And if that's what you want when you play through the game, a ton of different skills to be this character that pulls from all these different things, this is really going to be the one for you, because you have pretty much, I think you've got all skills to pull from. At the bottom, it'll tell you skills you do not have proficiency with. I think we can pull from every single one. So by all means, correct me if I'm wrong there. But anytime we click this, we would add 2 to that roll, of course, because that's how proficiency works. But then at level 3, we get that expertise, right? Choose 2 of your skill proficiencies. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses either of the chosen proficiencies. So it's massive, right? we're layering so much stuff into our skills to be this character that can really help out. Do I want to be a character that sneaks around and intimidates people and maybe uses my perception to spot traps and whatnot, like and spot hidden walls and traps and stuff like that? This is the character I'm going to make. Or you know what? Maybe we're not that route. Maybe we're all about the performance and we're all about let's go like perception. No. Persuasion. That's what I'm going to look for. Persuasion here, and maybe like survival or something. We're having a different role of character altogether, or maybe we want to really lean into arcana and history to kind of make an investigation to make for a character that is particularly good at divulging the arcane secrets and stuff, or the anthropological secrets of the world of Faerun. Whatever it is, you make that with your bard. It is so much a dealer's choice type of character that I really want you to lean into those when you're building one out. Create in your mind how this character interacts with the world, because that's the skills you're going to want to go for. There, I'm sure, yeah, you could probably like, yeah, I'm going to go with athletics because it helps me out in making like certain jump rolls and stuff like that, or maybe acrobatics. And you know what, I'm going to get medicine. Don't think of what's good. Think of what you want, because you've got so many things to take advantage of as this character. It's what makes that bard so goddamn fun. And then once you push up to level 10, you get access to magical secrets where you pull spells from every other class, or however they're really going to be doing that. Now, of course, we do stop at level 12 because that is our cap here. So I'm not sure how that scales out Song of Rest, which helps you recover hit points and such like that. Or no, it's helping you recover something else when you regain hit points. If you are a friendlier creature who can hear your performance or gain hit points at the end of the short rest by spending one or more hit dice, each of those creatures regains an extra hit point. So that you get more health whenever you take a rest if you can hear the performance of your bardic companion. But again, this is a class where you will be choosing a lot of different avenues. And I think that once you choose your bardic college, you will be able to get a feeling for how those avenues are going to play into each other. Because the bardic colleges, the valor, swords, and lore, will then dictate kind of a little bit how these skill proficiencies will probably play into your character. And your abilities too, like I've said before, you're going to be focusing mainly here on your dexterity and on your charisma. As you can see, that's your big focus for your character. But then maybe, you know what? We are going to be a character that goes really heavily into arcana and history and stuff like that. So I want these bonuses online for intelligence. So you'd put points into that. But primarily, if you're thinking just strictly like, hey, what do my skills probably scale with? Like my actual character, like strength because of the close combat capabilities, dexterity, and charisma is probably what you'd be looking at the most. Your general saving throws and what have you. But let's now pivot into a discussion here about some of those subclasses. The College of Lore is all about, well, lore, tapping more into the studious nature of the bard, hanging out with wizards and libraries and talking all about those sorts of things that they do. And with this, you get a character that is going to focus a lot more on those proficiencies, going to focus on the magical secrets that you get at level 10. You're going to get more of them now because that's the route that you've taken with this character. And I think lore, and I don't know if they're going to be changing it here for BG3, is probably, I'm going to be transparent. It seems to be the slimmest of the three options here for subclass. Yeah, you get additional magical secrets. You get Peerless Skill, which is going to help you out with your Bardic Inspiration ability check rolls. You're going to get an additional proficiency when you choose the College of Lore, which is great, right? Because remember, like I said, at level 3, when you get that expertise, you get those 2 more proficiencies. Well, now you get 3 more proficiencies, which is very cool. And you get the ability to distract, confused, so on and so forth with cutting words, which is another ability that you get at level 3. But again, if I'm being honest, it's really all you get from as far as what it looks like in the book. Now, the game might choose a different route for that. And that's okay too. Like, don't think that, hey, you know what, I'm going to choose lore because I want to go this, but it's not a good option. I'm not going to have fun. You're still going to have fun because you're still going to be a bard at the end of the day who has access to all these things. You're just getting more access to those things that your character already does, right? You get more stuff for your bardic inspirations. You're going to get more expertise. You're going to get more magical secrets. So you're better at barding as you currently were. So that's your kind of over-encompassing for the College of Lore. Let's now talk about the College of Valor. So Valor and Swords coincidentally, are both very focused on combat. Swords in a different way. Swords is very similar to the old Blades subclass, we'll talk about in a bit. But Valor allows you to be a little bit heavier of a hitter. You go from just simply having light armor proficiency to gaining medium armor proficiency, shields, and martial weapons. So rather than just having access to long swords and rapiers and short swords I think is in simple, but long swords and rapiers, you now have access to the whole entire martial weapon category. So a lot more options are open to you. If you want to be in close combat, you want to make this character use the buffs that he gets innately from his Bardic Inspiration in close combat, then definitely you want to go with Valor. Because Valor gets the combat inspiration, which makes it so that your Bardic Inspiration, which was previously only but benefiting our ability checks, our saving throws, and our what's the other one? Attack rolls. You now add it to the weapon damage, which is very nice. So yeah, sure, you're using it on attack rolls if you so wish, but now it does a little bit more. So a creature that has a Bardic Inspiration die from you can roll that die and add the number rolled to a weapon damage roll it just made. Alternatively, when an attack roll is made against the creature, it can use its reaction to roll the Bardic Inspiration die and add the number rolled to its AC against that attack. So this is, to kind of break that out, and what that really means is, you're adding more damage here into the character. You're allowing them to do more, or you're allowing them to defend better because you're helping out with their AC, their armor class. And that is the role of your Valor, the College of Valor Bard. You get access to extra attacks, so you make more attacks whenever you fight things. Battle Magic, I don't know if we'll get, because that unlocks at level 14 for our College of Valor Bard, but this allows you basically to cast a spell and rather than, I'll read the damn thing for you. When you use your action to cast a Bard spell, you can make one weapon attack as a bonus action, whereas otherwise this would not be a bonus action, allowing you to almost always be able to cast a spell and also attack with your weapon, which is a very, very cool thing to do. So that is how your College of Valor works. Let's now talk about the College of Swords. So the Swords College is really all about making you a better fighter. The College of Valor is about buffing up your teammates. Use that combat inspiration, right? But with the College of Swords, you're basically becoming a whirlwind of destruction, kind of, a little bit. But you get proficiency to medium armor now, and you get a proficiency to scimitars. Remember, Valor gave you martial and medium armor. That's the difference there. Also, you can use your simpler martial weapons that you have any proficiency with as a spellcasting focus. And for your fighting style, that's something that's unique to swords, is you get a fighting style. Remember, you can only choose one fighting style, in which case you get bonuses when you're doing certain things. Take, for example, dueling. Dueling is using a weapon in a single hand and nothing in the offhand, which gives you a +2 bonus to damage rolls with that weapon. Or to weapon fighting. So this allows you to use a weapon in each hand, which is lovely, right? So you choose one or the other as a fighting style, and you only can choose one. And then you get Blade Flourish. All these unlock all at level 3, so you pretty much get a lot of your abilities right out the gate. And it's worth noting here that if you played Baldur's Gate 2, then the Blade is what you'll probably remember this guy as, right? You've got the College of Swords. Well, that was very similar to the Blade. I think Herr Dallas was a Blade, where you had your Blade dances that you could basically give passive bonuses. It's not like that anymore. Now you've got Blade Flourish. And the way that the Blade Flourish works is that it gives you the bonus, no one else. So you get Defensive, Slashing, and Mobile Flourish. Defensive Flourish works in the exact same way as Combat Inspiration, where you get to use your Bardic Inspiration dice to help deal extra damage to the target you hit, and you also use that same dice to help out with your AC. But again, it is only you. Combat Inspiration applies to anyone, well, anyone within range. Defensive Flourish is just you. You have Slashing Flourish, which is you can spend one of your Bardic Inspiration to cause the weapon to deal extra damage to the target you hit, and to any other creature of your choice that you can see within 5 feet. The damage equals the number you roll in the Bardic Inspiration die. So if Defensive Flourish gave you a single target bonus, this gives you an ability to splash damage around, right? You do damage to one person and now also to someone right next to them. or creature right next to them. Mobile Flourish, you can expend one of your Bardic Inspiration to cause the weapon to deal extra damage to the target you hit. Always lovely. The damage equals the number you roll on the Bardic Inspiration die. We already know what that's going to happen, right? Now you can push the target up to 5 feet away from you, plus a number of feet equal to the number you roll on the die. You then can immediately use your reaction and move up to your walking speed to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the target. That's super convoluted, right? But it's basically saying you can shove them to get a little bit of room between you and your party maybe, or to push them into a trap, whatever it is. And then you can move towards them to kind of close that gap once more. Outside of that, though, you get an ability to get an extra attack, so you can attack multiple times in a turn. And lastly, you get Master's Flourish, which you can add a D6 and use it instead of expending a Bardic die. So it's a very nice little way to do that. But that happens at level 14, so I don't know if we get access to that in the game. But this is your College of Swords. So if you can't decide between the two of the martial colleges, just decide for yourself of, do you want to be a party support buffing character, or do you want to be someone who tries to dish out the damage yourself? That's what's going to help you decide between Valor or Swords. Hopefully this all helps you out in deciding how to approach the Bard, or if you want to play the Bard in Baldur's Gate 3. We have quite a few more classes to go through, and there are a lot of different things within each class, and I think every time you watch anything or read anything about any class, it just adds to the damn list of classes you want to play. But Bard is really going to be for you if you want to be a character who is all about using their proficiencies to the best of the ability to help out the party. Maybe you don't have a lot of characters that do have a lot of really good proficiencies, or maybe you have a huge gap in proficiencies across the way. Bard is going to help out to kind of fill those gaps, or allow you personally, the player, to just play with a lot of the proficiencies that you want for your character. I think one of the most inspiring or best things about Bard, and yeah, sure, it's easy to think like, oh, this is a guy who jumps into the tavern, uses charisma, and charisma is his way out of any situation. Sure, but you're going to interact with a lot of portions of the game world that are going to be unique to the proficiencies you select. Are you going to do something heavy into history and arcana and investigation? Well, you're going to do things far different than a bard that would not be doing those things. Obviously, that kind of goes without saying, but I'm saying that a lot of the game is going to interact with those proficiencies, and you're going to have a far different experience than if you did not take those the proficiencies that you end up taking. But hopefully, again, this helps you out. If you want to be that bardy bard, go with Lord. If you want to be a combat friend that helps out bros, go with the Valor. But if you want to be a single target, or I'm sorry, a single force to be reckoned with, then go with that Bardic College of Swords. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. If you have any questions, anything like that, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. But have a good one and take care.